Welcome to this little webinar on capital letters. I've been looking forward to share a little of my knowledge with you. And why I want to share this is that writing capital letters is a common mistake for a lot of people, and it's actually so hard to read for others. Like, it's easy for us to read because we know exactly what we wrote. But when you read something in capital letters for other people, or from other people, you'll probably be aware that it's not that easy, especially after you heard what I said today. So right here it stands in capital letters. How is this different looking in lowercase letters? Lowercase letters. This make an image in your mind instead of just two blocks. And this is how we learn to read, when we was young in school. We learn to read all these lowercase things, and we learn in one word, one letter at a time. And in the beginning of the learning process, we will go through a word like a C, H, P, and so on. And slowly we get it. But after a while, when we heard the same word and seen the same word over and over and over again, suddenly it just gets into one block and imprint an image of all these ups and downs in the single word. And that's why we today can read so quickly as we can, depending on how much time you've been using speed reading or novel reading. But no matter how, you can read pretty quickly compared to when you started to learn to read. But you can only do this when it's in lowercase, because the uppercase letters, you have really hard time taking one word and transcript it into what it actually means. So when you look at this, what's this? It takes a little while before you've gone through the whole thing, and you use a lot of energy in your mind to read it. When you see this instead, you might already, by the end of my sentence here, have read it all easily and quickly. And the reason is that this makes sense to you. And actually, without reading the whole words, just seeing the beginning and the end of some of them, you can go like through it from one side to the other so quick, and it's already imprinted in your mind. Because you can read so much when it's in lowercase letters, when you don't even have all the letters and see all the letters clearly. If you take a piece of paper right now, or you can do that in another book later on, and you hold it on top of the top line, so you cover the top half of it, you'll discover that you probably can't read it that well. I might not even be able to see what's standing there. If you cover just the bottom half of the writing, you have no trouble reading it, because all the ups and downs are making sense to us, and we already know what stands there. A few more examples. A list of words, and here you probably see yourself going through them one by one. If you see this list, you've probably already taken all the words in, just in a glance. When you see them compared to each other, where is your eyes going right away? I bet they're going to the right side. Just be aware of this. Whenever you write something, write it in lowercase letters. And you can, of course, make it differences and have it stand out in all other kinds of ways. And I'm pretty sure you know all the ways, but I'm going to show you it to the end, at the end of this session as well. Before I do that, though, I want to address another mistake people is using: writing white on black. Why is this a mistake? Because black is the dominant color. So your brain have a hard time in seeing the white ones, the white color. And you probably have to use a bit of extra strength in your eyes just to get a sense of what's standing right here, especially when it's uppercase. It's still bad when it's lowercase though. So, two more things to be aware of. Oh, the last thing. There's two more, at least. There might even be more. But when you do a text message on Facebook and in some cultures, when you use uppercase letters, this is very aggressive. You're actually shouting at these people. So be aware of the crowd that you're writing to if you're still going to use uppercase letters after this webinar. And often when you notice it, words in uppercase is negative. It's like don't, no, stop. So in this way, it gets so imprinted in our brain in a negative way. So all in all, just stop using uppercase as much as you possibly can when it's not grammatically correct to use it, like after a point and some words and all of that. This is only when you use it only capital letters. So what do you do instead? You can use bold, like the 3 most important keys. And this is the best way to have something stand out. You can increase the size. This is usually used in headlines and subheadlines, or something like in a sales thing you want to buy this, standing alone. Italic is not a good way to have things stand out. And you can use it like just in few words. It's often used like a whole sentence. I use it a lot if I kind of ask, one of the main questions is this, blah, 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 and then I will write the answer in italic to have it stand out. And the same way, of course, you can use colors. And you can use 2 or more features. For the fun of it, I just added 3, like bold, big, and color, something really stand out. And of course, when you choose between this, different ones, you web your crowd. Some crowds might not be appropriate to use colors. And if you're using colors, a blue, green might be more appropriate than using a red. And another thing about colors, the bright red is usually made for school teachers when they would correct our text. So it does have a negative imprint in some people. But this is only like the bright red one. All other kind of reds is used with no negativities in it. And you might notice that I forgot one here in the underline. It wasn't a mistake to forget it. The thing is with underline, it's not really a readable thing. So it doesn't make that big imprint as you think. The reason why underline was big some years ago was because when you used the typewriter, you didn't have the opportunity to use bold or italic without changing the whole, what's that called in English, the whole key thing. And that was a bigger work if you could it at all. But you could always go back and underscore something. So that's why they used it a lot. But if you look in any book today, you hardly see an underscore. So you can use it, but it's not that reader friendly. So these are the best ones to use. Play around with what works for you and your crowd. And one last note I want to address is when writing, especially to people with issues like stress, loss, chronic illness, anything that gives strain on your energy, it's very important to write in small paragraphs. And write as little and as clear as possible, because this makes it a lot easier for them to understand it. And you don't have to have a brain damage to have a hard time understand long tests if you have something going on mentally or physically. So that's all what I have for you guys, and I hope it's something you could use. And if you have any questions, please ask them right away, or later on you can always write me an email and I'll answer you as best as I can. Thank you for listening. Bye.